One of the greatest misconceptions about people with disabilities is that they're going to be high maintenance employees. I know from experience that that's just not true.
When you hire someone with a disability or someone from a marginalized group, you're hiring someone who is a hard worker, who is determined, who is going to come up with the best possible solution against all odds and look at it from a perspective that no one else understands.
Having a hearing loss is an asset for a lot of employers because oftentimes deaf people are not distracted by sounds in the office. They're not distracted by the water cooler discussions. They see the world through their eyes. They hear the world through their eyes, and they're just focused on getting the job done.
We're known for being innovative and creative because we're used to the world not always being accessible to us, so we have to improvise and come up with our own solutions.
There are some traits that I've seen that are common across every person with a disability, regardless of what that disability is. And the primary characteristic is resilience, a thing that I think all employers value, and I think lawyers in particular put a significant premium on.
I use several strategies. One is that I over-prepare. I also have to commit legal arguments to memory. You know, if I'm going to court and I have to argue a motion, I can't rely on my vision, you know, to look down and read a paper while the judge is asking me a question.
I need to think ahead of time, go into the courtrooms ahead of time, look at the layout, look at the little things, like is there a little ledge at the bottom of the podium stand so when I put my papers on it, they're not going to fall on the ground.
There are many cases where I've actually seen people with disabilities have a particular strength that makes them uniquely better at what they do.
My superpower makes me unique because I'm able to see the world very differently than the average individual. And that is a tool that can be used in various ways. It can help with being able to empathize with other people. I also think that it allows me to have more creative ideas for problem solving.
When you do indigent criminal defense, you're probably running through about 20 different people's names, cases, pleas. And so I've actually found that the fact that my brain transitions quickly between things has set me up really well to not get flustered as easily.
Having a hearing loss forces me to hyper-focus on what the client is saying or what the opposing side is saying or what the judge is saying.
For me, I became a lawyer because of my disability. But I realized what litigation was probably the best form of mental competition that I could think of.
Given the right resources and tools, persons with disabilities can overcome anything.
Giving an accommodation does not mean that you lower your expectations of them. Being very clear and explicit on what the expectations are, you can get to the same solution many different ways.
One of the most important impacts that hiring people with disabilities has is improving your culture as a workplace.
Having an attorney who has a disability adds a different viewpoint and a different life experience to your law firm. One of the things that's missing in our conversation in the legal community is how large the population is that we serve that have disabilities.
Hiring lawyers who have disabilities shouldn't be seen as a tokenizing move. It should be something that you're doing because you're trying to make your firm and your legal community and the community broader a more equitable, inclusive, and better place.
My recommendation would be, one, start recruiting. There are networks out there that you can tap into, and hire someone. Educate yourself and their supervisors about the nature of the disability, the potential of the individual, and then work with them, accommodate them, and be as inclusive as possible.
A lot of times, working across difference can feel uncomfortable. Lean into that discomfort. I promise you will grow from that experience.
There's nothing that can stop a person with a disability when they set their mind to do something because they've already overcome the hardest part.
Stand next to, with, and for people with disabilities, seen and unseen. We belong to each other.